Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the quantum coaching certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. OMG, Badass Manifester. Welcome back to another episode. I have such a soul-filling episode for you today. I'm so excited to introduce to you Kelly Noble. She is a quantum coach. She's an alumni of QCA, and she's an intuitive business mentor. She loves working with rebellious CEOs, and she is literally there to help you shift your paradigm. She's there to help you build wealth and manifest your wildest dreams. And she knows you already hold the custom blueprint to building a sustainable 7-figure plus legacy, not just a business, but a legacy, and rewiring the unconscious programming from generations of conditioning. She is a master at this. She is truly the ripple effect, and she wants to help you become the ripple effect in your life, in your world, in your business. And in today's episode, we talk about building an 8-figure empire. We talk about what it really takes to stand out. We talk about some of the biggest fears that come up for people and how to overcome them in really getting started in doing anything epic, anything that you want to do, all the doubt that creeps up, all the fear, all the crap, our ego. We dive deep today. And more than that, you're just going to love her. She's just an amazing, beautiful soul who is truly here on such a powerful mission. And she is just a light in this world, and you're going to want to be in her energy. You're going to want to get to know her and be inspired by her. So I'm so excited for you to meet Kelly Noble and enjoy today's episode.
Well, for me, business is so much more than just business and strategy and numbers and funnels and all of those things. It's important, but when we're building a business from our heart and soul, when we're building something from our calling and our passion, it has to start with self-love. It has to start with an embodiment of self. It has to really be created from a place of pleasure and desire and magnetism before we do strategy. So strategy is almost like a byproduct of, let's ground it, let's figure out what we really want to create in the world and how we want to show up. And then we can add strategy and tactics and all of that. So
I completely agree with that, like wholeheartedly, because that's where my business was born from too. Like a place of, I just want to show up and serve. Like I have this message, and I felt this like urgency in my soul to just be like, I don't care how it gets out. I'm going to share it every chance I get at the grocery store, on my Instagram, at the people at the yoga studio, like any chance that I can share, I'm going to, you know?
yeah, exactly. And you don't have to be quote unquote ready. You don't have to my first launch, I didn't have a sales page. I didn't have marketing material. I had a vision, and I had a vision that I wanted to share with people. And from that, I had a 35K launch for my very first launch.
Oh my God. That was your mastermind, right?
Yeah.
Holy, a 35K launch, no sales page.
No sales page. Like literally the first girl that was like, oh, I'm interested. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like running to my office and I'm like, okay, I need to send her something with
A
details.
payment link.
A payment link. How do I do that? Stripe. Okay, let's do this.
Oh my God, Kelly. Okay. So I'm so curious because you have all these coaching skills and tools under your belt. Like when you kind of like hit the ground running and was like, all right, I'm gonna fucking go. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna launch this mastermind. I remember when you started launching it, and I remember you posting about it. And what gave you the confidence to be like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking go for it. Like I got this.
Ooh, that's a great question. It's 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 a lot of different things. It was the vision that I have actually been holding for like 3 years.
Mm,
It was me seeing a community of diverse women coming together and just creating together and having community and supporting one another. And then, of course, all of the tools from QCA, I was like, oh, yeah, like I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that. Let's create something from this. So it gave so much confidence in being able to create a
facilitate.
yeah, facilitate and have the container. Uh,
Yeah.
when I graduated QCA, that's when I was like, okay, now it's game time. Like we are going all in. And it really was just following breadcrumbs and following my intuition. And it led me into finding the most beautiful local community of entrepreneurial women that just like get it. And
Hmm.
from there, I found a woman that helped me with my launch. And like, she helped support me. She helped me through it. She helped me when I was like crying and I'm like, my abandonment wounds are coming through. I don't know if I can do this. Like, she was such a light during that
Mm,
entire time. And what I loved most about her was she also very much fostered, like, let's do it the way that you feel. My launch was
right.
like 4 months long. Most people, 4 months. She even for a little bit was like, I don't know if this is going to work 4 months, but like, I needed that 4 months. I needed time to build community. And like when I started my business, I had no social media following. I had no local community. I built everything from the ground up.
Wow. 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 I think having that community in place is such a launch pad for having people really deeply know who you are and trust you and be like, Kelly is an embodiment of what I want to aspire to be or what I want to aspire to create, not to be you, but to really embody that energy for themselves, you know? And so good for you for giving yourself that runway. And like, I'm just so curious because I just got off of interviewing a human design expert. Do you know what your human design is?
Of course. Manny Gen 24.
Okay. 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 I'm like starting to understand more and more. So are you a sacral authority or emotional?
Sacral.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So you knew, like you just knew that this was something you were going to launch. You knew you were going to do it. You just wanted to give yourself just more time to build that community.
Yeah, and I think that was a part of like the confidence, right? For me, I needed more time to build the confidence as it came along because I knew I wanted to go into community more. I knew I wanted to
Mhm.
build more relationships. I knew that I wanted to really give myself the grace and time and not have the pressure of like, well, we're going to do it in a month. Like that didn't feel
Yeah.
good. Nervous system, that didn't feel good for anything at all. And it was totally worth it. Like I got to play along, I got to learn so much along the way. And then I
Yeah.
have the most incredible women in the mastermind right now. So it was so worth it.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I think as a coach out the gate, having a $35,000 launch is unbelievable. Like amazing. Like can you like are you like have you taken that in? I feel like you have.
Um, thank you. It's a part of my human design, the 2/4 is like such a blessing and a curse. Do you know much about 2/4s?
I know 2-4 is like a little bit of a hermit energy.
Yeah, we're a hermit opportunist,
Right.
polar opposites. Like sometimes we
Right.
hibernate and sometimes we just want to be out. The blessing and curse of a 2/4 is, boohoo poor me, but we are so good at everything naturally that we don't
Yeah.
realize or understand that we pick things up or we're just good at things so quickly. And so the con to that is because we are operating that way, we don't usually get to see our own genius.
Gifts. Yeah.
So it was so important for me to have my coach to be able to mirror and reflect these things back to me because she was
Yeah.
like, hey, first of all, you're a couple months into your business. You've already signed on like a like 4-figure client. You have already had so much success. Now we're in this launch. Your goal was 35K. You were hitting the goal. Like I need
Yeah.
to see that. So I'm absorbing and receiving, but it wasn't easy.
Mhm. That makes so much sense. Thank you for sharing that. And I think celebrating on the like the whole journey, but also like these huge leaps that you've taken at the very start. I mean, you manifested speaking on stage in front of hundreds of people like fairly quickly.
Yeah, and that just like dropped in my lap.
Right. I mean, you have this natural magnetism about you, and I think that you made a decision to go all in. And I would love to know what that process was like for you because I find, and like I've had that experience too, where when I was tiptoeing and I was wishy-washy and I was like, I want to do this, but I'm scared to be seen, or like, I want to do this, but what will they think about me, or rejection, or, all of that. I wasn't all in, and that energy was mirrored back to me through life. And so, what was it like before? Like, where were you before QCA? And like, what was that journey like to go all in?
Oh, such a good question. Before QCA, I had just lost my multiple six-figure job.
Mm,
I was selling luxury real estate and it was a really, really difficult time for me. Like I was
I did
really,
not know that you did that.
yeah, I had the last year of real estate, I sold like $40 million worth of real estate.
Holy shit.
And then I got laid off. I was a top performing salesperson. I was literally building a house with the company that I was selling homes for in the process of building a house. And then they were like, they came into my office the day I was supposed to have a meeting with my VP of sales to talk about my commission structure for next year. They came in early and they were like, actually, here's your severance. We need you to pack up and leave. And we'll give you your deposit back on your house. And
Did you love what you were doing?
at the time I was losing the passion and love for it.
Hmm.
When I first started doing it, I loved every second about it. I loved selling homes. I loved helping people create that piece of their dream. There was a lot of shifts in the company culture, though. I didn't feel valued. And I feel like every time I hit my lowest points, when I really get into like depressive episodes, it's always because something is out of alignment. And I knew I was meant to do something greater. I knew I
Hmm.
was meant to do something more than just sell houses. And right after that, I was starting like the deconditioning of like my value tied to money and to accolades and
Mm.
success and all of these other things. I slept for like 2 months straight because I was
Holy shit.
um and then I had been following some people on social media and like learning about the coaching world and retreats and all of this stuff. And I was like, oh, I think I want to be a coach, even though I had no idea what it was. And then, of course, Ashley is so good with the algorithm and
The Facebook ads.
Facebook ads, Instagram ads. You popped up on my feed. And I'm the type of person that I'm like, I'm going to research it and I'm going to research it until I know absolutely everything. And it's like, and I did
Yeah.
do research. I found other programs, but there was just something about your program
Mm.
that spoke to my heart. And I didn't know what it was, but I stopped researching and I made the call with Jenna. It was amazing. And like the next day I was like, okay, paid in full. Here you go. Let's go. Let's do this. Um,
Wow. That is, I mean, you are a sacral authority, so you like make that decision, but it doesn't come without the research. Like I get that because I'm that way too. But that's so fucking cool because I mean, what was that like for you making that decision of like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna pay in full. Like, let's go.
I mean, it was terrifying, right? I had just lost my job. It's the first
Yeah.
time since I was 15 years old that I wasn't making money for myself.
Wow.
It was terrifying because it's like, am I gonna get the ROI? Like, is she legit? Is she gonna
Yeah.
actually like help? What am I gonna do with this? I don't know. But there was just something inside that was like, no, I'm gonna pay it in full. I'm gonna dive into this wholeheartedly. And then the program started maybe like 3 months later. And can I tell you a funny story?
Yes, please.
So we're like a couple weeks into the program, and I go to my husband and I'm like, okay, so I thought coaching was going to be me getting to like tell people what to do because I'm so good and I like am always right. And that's the opposite of what I'm supposed to be doing. And my husband
Love
was,
that.
you probably should have researched a little bit more then, huh? And I was like,
Freaking hilarious.
yeah, I guess. But I dived in. I like embodied everything that you said.
You did.
I totally did. And aside from the coaching that we got to do within the program, I was coaching friends, I was coaching everybody, I was coaching my husband, every modality that I learned, I was finding someone to practice on. Like those 5 months, I was fully committed to mastering the craft. And I had my first mentorship call. It was like 3 weeks in, and I think this really helped build the confidence. But
Mm-hmm.
she sat there and she was like, "So how long have you been doing this?" And I was like, "Oh, I started like 3 weeks ago."
To clarify, she's talking about one of her mentor coaches in QCA, where you coach the mentor and they give you feedback. So Kelly coached her mentor coach, and who was it? Jenna?
No, it was Ashley.
Okay, so go ahead, tell. I just wanted to give context.
Yeah, perfect. And she was like, "What do you mean you just started doing this 3 weeks ago? Like, this is the first time ever?" I'm like, "Yeah, like whenever the program started." And she told me, she said, "If you would have told me you had 5 to 10 years experience, I wouldn't have even batted an eye. Like, this is your calling. Like, this is,
Mm,
we're meant to be doing this. The way that you just lead with your heart and you lead with your intuition." She was
blown away.
blown away. And for me, I was like, "Okay, let's go. Let's go." So when the program ended, I just committed. I was like, "This is
Mm.
it." Like, graduation was my date. The beauty of QCA though is a lot of the things that I needed to work through, we did in QCA.
I was literally just going to say that to you. I was going to say, like, not only were you such an amazing student of your craft, you were doing the fucking deep work. Like, I'll never forget our demo that we did for quantum shift technique ever.
Just an easy ego death in front of all of the women, no biggie.
Kelly did. She put it all on the line. Like, you went so deep and released so much that was in your way. It was just the most powerful thing I've like ever experienced in QCA.
It was one of the most powerful things I had ever moved through was
Wow.
QCA. So a lot of the visibility wounds, a lot of the doubt, I mean, that still comes up. Like it's not like it went
Sure.
away, but it went away enough where I could commit to myself and I could commit to the vision that I had. And again, like the small breadcrumbs, like when I tell people the story, it's wild to reflect back on. But my first like big networking event that I went to where I met a lot of women,
Yeah.
I was doing EFT tapping beforehand because I was so afraid. I had social
Yeah.
anxiety. I was like, people are going to think I'm weird. I'm going to be sitting at the table by myself. Like, oh, this sounds horrible. I'm doing EFT tapping before. And it just opened a world to new community, new women, support in my business. And it like having the community was so helpful in
Mm,
everything that I'm doing now. And then the sisters that I got from QCA also having
yeah.
their support and their love and having them to lean on when I'm feeling sad or unable to do things. Like community is such a huge piece, I think, in the new way of building business.
Completely agree with that 100%. And I think it's so powerful because I mean, the women that you met inside of QCA, you are now leading retreats with in Sedona called Follow Your Magic.
Mhm.
And like that, I can't tell you what that feels like as a someone who holds the container to watch the humans in the container just like share their gifts, but also like collaborate. The collaboration piece to me is like, I don't know, it's just like this cherry on top of everything. I'm so grateful and so happy for you all.
Oh, and do you want to know how that came about?
Yeah.
We all volunteered to do one of your Facebook webinars or classes,
Yes.
and we were in a group chat together since we were all doing it together.
Oh,
And,
that's right.
and Allie, she was just saying how she's been following her intuition and she keeps following these signs. And she's like, I just keep being told that I need to follow my magic. And I think I'm supposed to do a retreat with all of you. And
I have the chills.
instantly all of us were like, yes. And then Lauren was like, it's called Follow Your Magic. How this is exactly what it's called. And we started meeting once a week. And in the beginning, some of us were like, is it going to happen? Is this real? I don't know. And then the other half was like, absolutely. And it happened. And we had the most magical retreat ever. Women that were attending, they were like, you guys need to be charging more. This is the best retreat I've ever been to. I've been to tons of retreats. We had girls quitting their jobs. We had
Oh my
women
God.
saying that their business was in so much overflow that they needed it to stop for a second because it was so abundant. Like,
You had women who decided to become coaches from that event. They were like, I want to do what you're doing. And then they joined QCA. Katie, shout out Katie.
out to Katie. Yes, she was like, whatever you guys are doing, I need to learn what you guys are doing. She
Because
has
you all facilitated different modalities, right?
different modalities.
Oh,
They have different strengths. Like
right.
Lauren's breath work. I love talking about money and wealth and helping women claim more wealth. We had career. We had mindful practices of just being more present with yourself. We had connecting to your higher self and the soul work. All of us are so different, but we
Mm.
all apply what we use and learned in QCA into like what we do every day.
It makes me so happy. And so now you're having your second annual Follow Your Magic retreat in October, which we'll say at the end in case anyone wants to join. Wow. Okay. So where do you live? I'm sure people are wondering because they're like, I want to go to networking events.
I live in Denver,
Okay.
and Denver, for whatever reason, has the most beautiful entrepreneurial women's community that I've ever seen.
Wow. That's amazing. There is something really special about being with other female entrepreneurs. Like we just go through very similar things. And so it's really nice to just, it's like a club, right? And like when you're a mom, you're like in a club, like there's these different clubs. And when you're a mom and an entrepreneur, you're in another club. Like it's so many connection points. Yeah.
Totally. It's very different becoming an entrepreneur since I've never been an
Yeah.
entrepreneur before until now. Like
I know.
people just don't understand unless they're actually in it. It's
They really don't. And it's funny because like looking back on college for me, I I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I majored in like communications and I was just like, I don't fucking know. But I wish looking back that I went to business school so badly. So badly. But I'm getting my business school now. Trust me. What
there's
did you major in?
uh someone just asked me this. I had my official degree was business administration with an emphasis in marketing.
Oh,
And I mean, it was helpful, but at the same time, I'm
no.
like, nah.
It's so surface level, I feel like, compared to what you actually go through.
Totally. I took entrepreneurship classes. I took a lot of business classes, but unless you're in it, and again, it kind of goes back to the first thing I talked about. Strategy and stuff doesn't matter. Like that is the easiest part in business.
Yeah.
Just being grounded into your energy and the belief and the
Hmm.
confidence and just this unwavering knowing that you are capable of building anything. That is so much harder than the funnels and the
Oh
strategy.
my God, you're so right. You're so right. What shifted in you? Like, when did you activate that for yourself of like knowing that you're meant for like great wealth, great impact? Did you know that when you were in real estate? Because I'm sure you made multi six fit, like you made really good money.
Yeah. I mean, there's always been this inner knowing. Like, I was always a kid where my dad always told me I am like a champagne girl, but on a beer budget. Like, I was always bougie. Like, I always pick out the most expensive things, and I don't
Yep.
even realize it. Like, that's just
Same.
been me.
Yeah.
And I've always been passionate about building wealth, even though I come
Mm,
from a poor family. I didn't learn that in school. I didn't learn that from my family. Like I learned very much at an early age that you save, 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 that once money is spent, it's gone. It's hard to
mm.
make. If you want something, you have to earn it. And so there was a lot of deconditioning I had to do around money in that kind of aspect. But yeah, like I've always just been like a bougie girl. I like nice things. I can't help that. Like I always
I'm with you. I'm so with you.
five-star resorts. I fly
Yeah.
first class. Like it's just a part of me. Um, and I really love helping women create wealth because it's more than just buying nice cars and buying nice things. Because I had that in real estate and I was still
Yeah. Mm,
it really is how do we take our dollars and create wealth, which for me, wealth means we have money making money for us. So then we can really step away and pour more into being in service, our passions, what lights us up, and also having the money to be able to create actual change. How do
Mm-hmm.
how do we get more dollars into the women that create big ecosystems with who we hire and more intentional with who we hire? How do we get more money into the hands of women so we are able to pour money into politicians that are actually for the people and that are going to make change? How do
Mm-hmm.
we create more wealth in the hands of women so that they can have their ripple be much larger and
Mm-hmm.
pour into scholarships and after school programs and foundations and whatever that thing is for you. That I truly believe the pain is the portal.
Mm.
Whatever is your biggest pain is the portal into your biggest purpose. So how do we help you create more money by doing that? Because I know by doing that, you're going to help be the solution to whatever caused that pain.
Mm. Wow, that's really powerful. What was your biggest pain?
My biggest pain is not being able to feel love.
Mm.
And so now all I want to do is help people feel loved and love themselves and love others in a healthy way. I didn't get that growing up. I didn't understand what healthy love looked like, felt like. I
Mm-hmm.
had to live life knowing that people loved me, but I could never feel that people loved me. And
Mm.
because of that, it's always created a big wall. And it's still something I work through now, but I lead with love. And I just
You
want
do.
people to I want people to feel seen and loved and appreciated and valued. All of the things that I didn't feel when I was little, I want people to feel now.
Wow. And just like looking at your journey and where you came from and where you are now and how you help people now, like you really do lead from that place. But more than that, like you embody that. And also, like we were saying at the very beginning, even before we hit record, like you don't necessarily have to have like a super niche down business to be able to like give that purpose to people. You know what I mean? To be able to like share that with people. Like you help people love themselves, you help them build wealth, and you help them grow their businesses all at the same time.
It's all one and the same. And that is the niche, right?
It really is though.
I feel like the niche, I've had conversations with this with clients because that's a big thing for them too. And this is what I remind them of. I'm like, you are the niche.
You are the niche, baby.
You
It's
are.
funny. It's funny because like on my webinar to share QCA, you've been on that webinar probably, but you're my testimonial at the end when I talk about like not having a niche and I have your Instagram profile up and I'm like, this is Kelly Noble. And she is a perfect example of what it looks like to be everything. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that, but it's that Manny Jen energy is strong.
Oh, that's true. That is so true. That is so true. So tell me a little bit about creating equity in the world, like the secret to building the eight-figure empire, like trusting your own intuition is part of that. Cause I know that we talked about that a little bit, but what can you elaborate more on like knowing that that's there for people, for women, people, but women?
Yeah. So for me, one of the biggest passions I have, like how I see myself impacting the world, is helping people love each other because it starts with that. But I want to create equity in the world. I want people to feel valued. I want people to feel seen. I want people to have equal opportunities because we do live in a society, in a world where there's systemic racism. There are things that there's laws against women to be able to fully embody wealth. Like women, until recently, until the 70s, we weren't even able to get a credit card unless a man co-signed for us.
Mm-hmm.
Women
Yeah.
were actual property to men for so long. So there's so much deconditioning from generations, especially around women and the BIPOC community. And so I love helping women build businesses because I feel like the best way to build wealth is a business. You can be highly
Mm-hmm.
successful, you can build wealth with a normal corporate job, but to really like collapse time, hop timelines, build it faster, it's entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
It's why are we going to make someone else rich? You can make yourself rich. You've been doing that your entire life. If you can do it for someone else, you can do it for yourself.
Boom. You know what's funny? I think about this is this thought of like, imagine a world where everybody was just like exchanging their gifts.
Mm.
Because that's really what we're doing. Like, if ever, like, that's entrepreneurship, right? Like, exchanging your gifts for something in return for a trade or money or some sort of compensation. But like, if we're all just utilizing our gifts in this way, I mean, that'd be dope.
Yeah, it would be. And
I think that that's starting to happen.
it totally is. I think this new wave of entrepreneurship, especially with so many women now stepping into entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
that this is the new path. Like a lot of the things that I help the women that are in my world with is we're not building it off of a patriarchal system.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one way that it's only you, that you have to grind it out. Like that is such an old way. And it's built for men. It's built for men's cycles that get 24-hour cycles and they can wake up the next day fully recharged again, where women have 28-day cycles. We need to be in the ebb and flow. We need to respect our bodies. We need to know that it's collaboration over competition. And that's, you want to get to 8 figures, that's the secret sauce. Community,
Collaboration.
collaboration, loving yourself deeply, and just listening to your intuition. It's simple but not easy.
That's perfectly said. Simple but not easy. And we overcomplicate it.
Oh yeah, Manny Jen energy. Yes, it's I can overcomplicate everything.
Yeah. Like it's funny because people say all the time to me like, "Oh, you have this beautiful business with this one product. Like I have one product, that's all I have." And that works for me and it's it's not simple on the back end. Like it's actually a really complicated product that I have. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting how like I don't know where that just came from, but like we can overcomplicate things even if it seems like it's really simple.
Oh, absolutely. And even though you have like one quote unquote product,
Yeah.
you have like 7 certifications within the
Right,
product.
right. 8, actually. I was just gonna
8
yeah, 8.
certifications.
Yeah, no, you're so right. You're so right. You're so right. So I'm curious, when you are leading your mastermind, what do the women come with that they're like, this is like, what are the biggest blocks that you're seeing um female entrepreneurs coming across right now in the community that you're leading?
There's a wide range. What I love about my mastermind specifically, and one of the visions that I had for it was I have new entrepreneurs that are pivoting, and I have entrepreneurs that are in already like the multiple 7-figure range.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that intentionally because I feel like it's not about status, it's about your
Yeah.
energy and what you're
Yes.
big. And there's so much that they can learn from each other. The 7-figure entrepreneur is going to be able to help the new entrepreneur. The new entrepreneur has gifts and talents that's going to help the 7-figure entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Universally, what I see most of is self-doubt,
Mm-hmm.
the fear of being seen,
Mm-hmm.
and living in a very wounded, hyper masculine energy and building business where it just feels hard and you're burnt out and you don't know what it feels like to slow down because you're constantly having to prove yourself.
Ooh,
Those are probably the 3 biggest, like, kind of things we're moving through right now.
wow. That is intense. And I feel like before when we were talking, what I wanted to say too is I do feel like the divine feminine is like rising from the ashes and is like, this is the new way, and like feeling into things and following your flow, like you did when you launched the mastermind, and allowing yourself space and giving yourself time where like bro marketing would have been like, no, you need a cart close date, you need this, you need that. Like, this is the timeline, this is the steps. And I feel like you really embodied that. So it's a perfect balance to help the women kind of tap into their entrepreneurial flow.
Yeah, 100%. I'm a big believer that it's 80% feminine energy and 20% masculine,
Mm,
where we lead with the feminine, we lead in receptivity, being a magnet, attracting opportunities, doing what feels good for us when it feels good for us. And also, we need to have masculine energy. We need to have some sort of structure and container to hold what we are creating so we can
Mhm.
feel safe to be in that creative flow. So it, I love having that balance and that harmony between the two of like, let's lead with feminine, and also
Yeah.
masculine energy is so important.
Yeah, it is so important. We need both, definitely. How does that show up for you, like in your days? Like how do you structure your work days?
My work days are a hot mess express.
Love the realness.
I'm definitely in a season right now of leaning into more masculine structure in a way that feels really aligned so I can feel more supported.
Yeah.
Because when you are just in the feminine and you're floating and you're just creative every day, it can feel very overwhelming and chaotic in my opinion and how it shows up for me.
Hmm.
So I am in the process now of streamlining, like, how do I structure my days? And also for my human design,
Yeah.
I thrive in more structure.
Yeah.
So I can be in my feminine with the structure in place. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
But it sounds like you know yourself, you know what I mean? In that way where you're like, actually, I need structure right now, and that will help my feminine expand.
Yeah, it's entrepreneurship. There's seasons, there's ebbs and
So,
flows.
yeah.
I'm like a big, I'm in the season right now in my business. I had this really successful launch. We're in the middle of the mastermind, but now I'm in the season of like no longer, but not yet.
Yep.
So there was some unalignment that was happening that didn't feel good within of how I wanted to move forward, of how to build the masculine structure of what I want to create next. So I'm leaning more into the feminine right now to really like decide what do I want to create next.
Yeah. What feels aligned.
Yeah, what feels aligned. The beauty of having quick success is great. And like I proved to myself that I can do it. But I think in the same breath, it was maybe a little jarring to my nervous system to have so much success so quickly. And it's like a new level, a new
Hmm.
awarenesses that are coming through. And I'm a true believer in if I'm going to lead these women through what I'm preaching, I need to make sure I'm leading myself through that same space.
Hmm.
And I felt a little bit of a disconnect between what I'm saying these women should be doing and how it can be done versus what I was actually doing. So I'm like in this weird middle right now of like, what do I want to create? I don't want to just create to create. That's that
Yeah.
again, very capitalism, patriarchy, just do it, bro, marketing, just do it and do it and do it. But I don't want to do it unless it feels good. So I'm trying to figure it out.
And I feel like what you're saying right now is what makes you a powerful leader, right? Because you're being so honest and so raw. And I feel like that's the unsexy truth that most people would never say, most people would never admit. And that's what's going to draw people to you to be like, give me something from Kelly because she keeps it so real. And like, that's the kind of leader I want to be, you know? So it makes me kind of emotional because I just feel like it's like so it's so powerful what you just said and like being in the space of I don't know right now is okay. And like by you sharing that you're giving permission to other people right now to be like, okay, I could chill for a moment, figure it out,
Yeah,
collect myself,
absolutely. It hasn't been easy. Lots of tears, lots of crying, lots of
releasing.
releasing. It's a lot of digging deeper into the shadows and really identifying what's happening in my business. What, like a lot of the things that I thought I healed, it's going deeper now and it's
Right.
coming to the surface more because your business, when you're building from such a place of heart and purpose, your business is such a big mirror into you.
You, your soul.
So I've had a lot of, like we talked about some of my biggest wounds, like that is shouting at me right now. And
Same
I,
girl.
I'm running into it. I'm embracing it the best.
And and it's wildly uncomfortable.
Oh my goodness, so uncomfortable. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. It's you get the battle between, but I should be working, I should be doing more, I should be showing up on social media, I should be pouring into
Yeah.
my podcast. And you have to, I don't want to say disassociate, that's not the right word, but you have to give yourself the ability to step back and truly surrender and trust that if you are intentional with a season of your business and you move through it, that's when the money comes. That's when
Yeah.
the community comes. That's when the next breakthrough comes.
The way you're talking, I swear to God, it sounds like you've been in business for like 5+ years. Like, because you're literally like, I'm literally going through something very, very similar right now in a just different way. And um, it's uncomfortable, but like, my will is so, part of my will feels so masculine and so strong that like, I'm like, no, I will not miss a fucking week of my podcast because I got to deliver for the people, even though like I need a break. You know what I mean? Like I will like today I'm recording 3 podcast episodes. That's a lot. And I'm trying to get ahead so I could give myself a break. Like it's like, you know what I mean? But like my will is like, you got to keep going. You got to keep going when really I just need space. And it's funny because today we're recording this on a Thursday. Saturday, my phone broke and I dropped it like I do 100 times every single day. I just always drop my phone. We all do, right? And the screen just wouldn't come back on. Like it was done. The next day, we don't have an Apple store near me because I don't know why. But anyway, the next day I travel to an Apple store. We were on vacation for a wedding. And they're like, yeah, your phone is like dead as a doornail. I tried to upgrade it. It wouldn't work at the Apple store. We go to T-Mobile. They don't have the phone that I want. God and the universe and my guides were like, check the fuck out. And so I haven't had a phone since Saturday.
Isn't it so liberating?
I love it. I I can't even tell you. Like I feel so creative. I feel so present. I feel so spacious. My sex drive has gone up. Like things that you wouldn't expect. My connection with my partner is like next level right now with my baby. I mean, there's just so much and like I don't even care. I'm like, are people going to forget about me? Maybe. I don't, but who cares? But I'm like, no, they won't because I'm going to put that podcast out every week.
Yeah, the ego is strong, right? Like
My ego is very strong.
I didn't realize this until I had a coaching session with Courtney, who is also from QCA. She's a soul coach and we've been doing a lot of soul work. And she's like,
Oh.
babe, your ego is strong. And I was like, oh, it is. And she was telling me how it like is manifesting in my life. And I was like, oh, that's what it means to have a strong ego. Yeah, I have a strong ego.
Oh my God. Isn't that insane how when it's mirrored back to you in a specific way, you're like, oh shit, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. This is why I love coaching. Like coaches need
Yeah.
coaches. I feel like everybody needs a coach because we're so in our own shit.
Yeah.
It's just
All of
hard.
us. All of
Yeah.
us. It doesn't matter what level you're at. I promise you, all my multi 7-figure friends, they all fucking doubt themselves. They all fucking go through ego deaths. Like it's all the same.
It totally is. Like we all go through shit and we need someone there to help support us and move us through it.
What I love most, I'm glad you brought this up because what I love so much about the QCA community is that people that graduate end up hiring quantum coaches to coach them, right? Like you're working with Courtney, she's helping you. I know you work with Danny, and like there's so many more. Like we're incestuous, and it's the best thing ever because I think that there's like a safety in knowing that you know how to hold someone, and like you're gonna do it in your way. Kelly, you're doing it in your way. Courtney is doing it in her way. Danny's doing it in her way. But like there's such a safety in knowing that like you're an expert at holding space.
Yes, it's honestly, I'm talking about blessing and curses, Ashley.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I know.
it's there's such a high level of integrity in your container and your certification program and your methodology and the way that you lead and guide us and train us. And I've worked with other coaches and I'm like, this isn't coaching. You're not
Right.
coaching me. Or I've worked with other coaches and I'm like, you're not using like NLP language. So in my mind, it's keeping me from being truly present because I'm like analyzing
You're
it
correcting them.
totally like subconsciously, but I can't help it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, like it's so hard to find other coaches that have the same level of understanding of what coaching truly, truly is
Yeah.
that I can only use
I
other
can only
people.
have a quantum coach. It's so funny. It is a blessing and a curse. Like I've been in so many high level masterminds. You've heard me talk about this where I'm like cringed by the level of coaching. And I'm like, these people have paid 15K plus to be in this room right now, and you're not coaching.
I have women in my mastermind now, like so upset because she's working with a different coach while in the container with me. And she was told that her goals for her launch were unicorn goals and that she needed to like
Oh
bring it.
God.
And I was infuriated at the fact that she is working with someone, she is paying somebody basically to tell her that her dreams are too big and that she needs to dim her light and play smaller.
Mm.
And I'm like, QCA would never.
We would never, literally never. Uh, First of all, that's just, yeah, I could go on a tangent on that. That
No,
is crazy.
no, it's like our job is to hold a vision. Like, no, babe, 100 people this year, you've got zero community. Let's go. How do we do it? Let's figure it out. Let's like our job as coaches is to help figure out how to get there, not to tell
Yeah.
you you need to change your goals because
Change your
my
goals. It's
insecurity
funny.
come
It's
through.
crazy because like that's what happens when you don't do your own inner work. So that coach was projecting her beliefs onto her client. That's like a perfect example of a coach not believing that her goals are like valid or attainable or, achievable. And so she's literally projecting that onto her client. And we don't do that.
No, it's our own insecurities.
Our
And
own
it
limitations.
totally is. And it's so harmful to see how upset she was. Like, we're already working through visibility wounds. We're already working through not feeling enough to be able to create whatever. That's hard. The last thing you need is a coach or someone else in your life telling you that you can't do it.
Hmm.
And so I sat down with her, and in like an hour and a half, we like mapped out all how to diversify her program, create multiple streams of income, bring more people in. I'm like, if the goal is 100, let's figure out how to do that. And she was like, thank you so much.
Wow. Wow. Let's make it happen. That's the vibe. That is the
Totally.
fucking vibe. Mm.
Anything is possible. What is it? Miracle consciousness, right? Anything is
Yes, miracle consciousness. We're creating quantum coaches create help coach from the quantum field where there's literally unlimited possibilities and we help our clients access those possibilities for themselves.
possible.
So I hear you talk about community a lot, and obviously I'm huge on community. Um, what are some of your tips for people listening that are like, community, it's a buzzword, but like I want that. How can they create that for themselves?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I'm like EFT tapping is very helpful.
Yes.
Again, I had visibility wounds, so how am I going to build community or go out in community, feel safe in community without feeling like it's safe within myself?
Mm-hmm.
Moving through sisterhood wounds. I mean, there's so many things. So I think again, it starts with self of really knowing that you deserve a community that supports you
Yeah.
and being very intentional also with the kind of community you're wanting to call in. I was very intentional with I wanted women entrepreneurs that were also spiritual and a little woo-woo that understood
Yeah.
me and they came into my life. And to build genuine community, it really is, it's really just showing up for other people.
It
It's
really
allowing
is.
it's allowing people to feel seen, it's validating their experiences, it's loving people, it's checking in on people, it's doing it because you genuinely care about other people. So I think to build genuine community, we have to detach kind of, I don't want to say like the needy energy, but the self-serving kind of energy to build genuine community.
Oh, that's really good. Like I want them to like me, like leave that aside and just like be for them.
Exactly. Like
That's really, really good.
this
Because
is
to me, what you're talking about is more like the energetics behind community, which I love. And it's not like, oh, go out to a networking group and like blah, 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 blah. But like first you have to decide like this is what you want to call in. I love that. And then also just like the inner workings of like I wasn't expecting you to say EFT tapping, but it makes sense because if you have that visibility wound, then you need to get through that first to be able to show up for people
Yeah.
and be genuinely interested in people when you're meeting new people, like, or if you're going to the same class, gym class, or this class or that class, like, pick your head up and say hello to people, smile at them, you know, ask them how their day is and what they're up to this weekend or whatever, you know?
100%. I mean, I feel NLP was my favorite modality that we learned in QCA.
Yeah,
Like, Ashley, can we get the next levels of NLP,
I
please?
know, I know.
Again, I can't go through any other certification unless it's with you.
Well,
Um, but NLP was one of my favorite modalities because I wasn't a good communicator. Even though I sold millions of dollars of real estate, like people think this is mind blowing when I say this, but it was more of a performance. I knew how to do my job. I knew how to sell, like traditional selling, but NLP taught me how to hold space. It
mhm,
taught me how to build rapport quickly. It taught me how to listen more and talk less. It taught me how to ask questions from a genuine place to really get to know people. Like
mhm,
NLP absolutely changed my ability to build relationships with other people. And also, I don't like to say selling because I feel like that's kind of like I don't know, it's like an icky, we think about like car salesman, but it helped me build genuine community and connections with people that wanted to be in my world
mhm.
that I was able to serve. And it also brought in people that I wanted to be in their world and they helped me with my launches and it's
Right.
cyclical. It's the same thing.
It's so powerful. I love everything that you're saying about like what you learned from that and how it's translated into like the success that you have because you didn't learn all this and then like go hibernate. You learned all this and continued to do the work and continue to put yourself out there. And one thing led to another, like the breadcrumb trail, right? Like literally one thing led to another, led to another. And I mean, even recently you just spoke at a beautiful event in California called I Am Woman that you co-facilitated with another QCA graduate. And it's just like you're rippling. You're rippling. The ripple is rippling.
It, and the biggest compliment, like we talked about at I Am Woman, like the biggest compliment that I can get is actually there's two. I've had two. Of course, it's like, I love your energy, but I had one woman, she is like, I want to work one-on-one with you. I'm gonna like start calling in more money. I'm gonna start saving. But I feel like you're the only person I feel like that's going to be able to hold space through my journey. And when
Wow.
you said that, I was like, oh my gosh,
Mm,
that is the ultimate compliment for me is being able to hold space and the women at I Am Woman, for them to be able to come into our space and say, this is the first time I've ever been able to be open and vulnerable and be seen and feel like I have genuine community and feel safety within community is so big for me. A lot of the self-development space is a lot of inner work. It's about us, it's about me, it's about what I need to do, it's self-care. It's very individualized, which is important and good. But the next piece to healing is in community because
mm,
community is what hurt us, our school system,
mhm,
partner, our parents, our government. There's so many things that happened outside of us that really caused all of that pain. So to be able to create spaces like that where people can heal in community and feel safe again in community, it's like
mm.
the best thing.
I'm so proud of you. So proud of everything you're doing, everything you're creating. And like that feeling that you feel as you tap into that, like as you were just speaking that, like use that to manifest more of that, right? So like pulling that feeling into your heart and then emanating that frequency out when you're still or when you're walking or when you're just in the sunshine, like whenever you feel good, just like pulling that frequency in and just saying more of this and like spreading it out, like that'll be good. That'll be really good.
Thank you for that because I am again in a season right now and I need to remember to do more of that.
Yeah,
It
more of the manifesting, right? Getting into your body, getting all the way into the body of like, yeah, this is where it's coming from. Mm. So good. And just like a small little note going back to the real estate thing with the sales and everything. My husband works in real estate and like I want him to go through my certification so bad, not to become a coach, but just to be more effective with his clients, you know? It would make a huge difference, from a real estate perspective too. It's
Oh,
wild.
totally. The way that I used to sell, I mean, obviously it was very successful. But again, I worked with a coach and she was like, "Can we try this again?"
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it was very like bro kind of
Right.
strategic. It's very, I don't want to say manipulative because I never sold from that kind of space. But it's like you need this and you need this because, and it's
Right.
like you're forcing and
Right. As
you're
opposed to coaching them.
exactly as opposed to coaching and sharing the
Right.
vision, saying, "This is what I'm creating. I want you to be a part of this." Like, does that make sense for you?
Mhm.
Do you feel that also? All of the women that happened in my mastermind, they were like, "I don't know why I'm saying yes, but like I feel like I'm supposed to." Like that's where I want to sell, quote unquote, from.
From
Not
boom.
you have to have this or this is meant for you because X, Y, and Z. Like, no, I want you to be in my world. Not you have to be in my world.
Oh, love that. Well, I want everyone to be in your world. So, can you share a little bit about what you have going on as far as the retreat and then how they can just connect with you in your community?
Yes, we have Follow Your Magic, which is in Sedona, October 16th through the 20th.
Nice.
5 quantum coaches coming together. We talk about inner child healing, money, somatic practices, like literally the most holistic and
Mm,
beautiful transformation that will happen in a weekend. And again, we're bougie girls, so it's private chefs and luxury mansions and all of the things. So if you are interested in that, you can go to my Instagram. There's a link for the website. My DMs are always open. I love connecting with people in my DMs, kellynoble.coaching. I also have a podcast. It's on hold right now. So Ashley, if you need a little pause, I give you permission. But I have a podcast. It's called Manifest That Shift, where we talk about business. We talk about literally everything. So yeah, I would love for anyone to message me, email me, DM me. I just love connecting with people. So,
Awesome. Thank you so much. What makes you a badass manifester?
ooh, what makes me a badass manifester? I manifest for the collective. I don't just manifest for myself.
Ooh, love that.
Yeah.
That hit me. That hit me right in the heart. Oh, I love you. Thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your gifts and your wisdom and just everything that you're up to in the world. It's so inspiring. And I can't wait to just continue to be front row on your journey and watch you explode. And I'm always here for you.
Thank you, Ashley. And if anyone is interested in QCA, just say yes to yourself.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Join us. We will change our life. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening and have the best day keeping badass manifester of your life. Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at manifestwithash. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here, we be about it. Now go get 'em.